signal me when we're ready to start up, or?
Oh, I already clicked the thing. I don't have like a very professional start to my streams or anything like that though. I kind of just start, see when it goes live on my phone, and then just go from there.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. So I think that the first thing that we should do for this, because I don't know how much you all or how well you all know each other. A lot of you, I just met you the couple of weeks ago during the Fall Guys thing. Ooh, that was loud.
Oh, why is Roll20 so slow right now? Hold on.
Because Roll20.
I normally use Tabletop Simulator because they have a DnD builder there too for 3D worlds.
Yeah, that's fair. If I could, I personally would either use like Foundry.
Gross.
Oh, there. What was it? Key something. It was a crowdfunded thing. My husband got it. I think it's Keymasters or something like that. It's so pretty. I think everybody has to own it to be able to use it. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I've seen a few new ones popping up. I would be more interested in trying them out if I hadn't sunk like a few $100s into getting the books and stuff on here.
So I had a buddy who gifted me like $125 something for me to be able to build things on Roll20. And I had to make a new account because I couldn't get my account.
Oh, wait.
So like, it's all gone.
Oh, rip, I can't. I'm trying to use the character man, so I don't see growing on the list.
Yeah, Character Mancer is very basic.
Just an FYI, I am also live now.
Yeah, so,
all right.
Real quick.
Let's go.
Since, again, I feel like I don't know many of you. I don't know how well you all know each other. We're just going to go ahead and start at the top of the list in Discord, and we'll go down. Everybody just go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit. My name is Zach, or Black Cat, whichever one works. I'm not really too strict on it. I do a bunch of variety games. My stream schedule is not really that regular, but recently been getting into stuff like World of Warcraft and things like that. Nagi.
Hiya, I'm Das Nagi. I am a Manticore VTuber, a variety streamer, and I don't have a set stream schedule because I'm also a parent IRL. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Yay.
Okay, Drac.
Hello, I am Dracana of Dracana's Haven. You can just call me Drac. I am a Dryad Druid VTuber, but at the moment I currently am in hiatus. As far as streams go, but that's about it.
Fair enough.
Howdy, I'm Night Jaybird. I sometimes stream in the Blue Moon, but past that, I was just more of an experienced D&D player, just here to fill in.
Ursa?
Hello, I am Ursa Supreme. I am a bear VTuber. I use he, him pronouns. I play variety, like casual games, mostly Pokemon. And I absolutely love D&D, and I'm happy to actually be playing instead of running. So.
God, that's a vibe.
Right.
I've offered, but y'all never don't want to.
And Walter.
Hi, I'm Walter Guys VT. I'm a Ghostboy VTuber. I use he, him pronouns. I stream all sorts of games, variety of games, mostly like cozy games, sometimes a little bit of horror. And I'm excited to be playing D&D.
Alright. Oh, I always forget that I actually have Streamlabs set up now. So anytime I get like a chat notification, I like forget about it. So, who here has much experience with D&D 5e? Or, well, I guess it's better. Who doesn't have much experience with 5e?
I don't know jack that's about 5e.
I believe that you did say that you played a bunch of 3 and 3.5, though.
I've played AD&D. I've played 2.0. I've also played 3.0 and 3.5. Didn't play 4.0 and haven't played really any 5e.
All right. Does it seems like a lot of you like jumped into this really quick? Who here has ideas for their character already?
I do.
I absolutely do. Yes.
I have loose ideas.
My
Loose
ideas are
ideas
loose, but I
help.
do have like sort of motivation for my character and sort of like his personality already sort of like planned out.
Okay, cool.
Also, I have I've been get I don't know like it's like if it'll get too much, but if I was thinking having my character talk in third person. If that gets too like obnoxious, let me know. I'll stop that.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be too bad, I don't think. Before we get into what everybody's planning on playing and some information about the world, something that I feel like we should probably start with right away is it's typical session zero stuff to go over if you have any specific triggers or phobias, things that you just don't want to see in the game. I have one here written up of just general things that I do not allow in my games. And I'll just read off the list real quick, and then once I'm done, if anybody has anything that they'd like to add or things that they would like to comment on, then feel free. So I've been DMing for the better part of about 7 years or so. Oops. I've been DMing for the better part of about 7 years or so. But I by no means know like every single rule at all times. If we run into a situation where nobody remembers what the specific wording on a rule is, I might make a decision on how it will work in the moment to keep the game running, and then between sessions we can go and look up the actual way that the rule works and figure out how to go from there. Any questions on that?
No.
No questions.
We're good.
Works for me.
I typically do not allow characters who are evil simply for the sake of being evil. If there is a purpose behind it, then that's totally fine, as long as it doesn't hinder the party and make the game uncomfortable for anybody else. There will be consequences for your actions, but I don't allow just, it's what my character would do. There should be some kind of a motivation for why your character is acting for the sake of evil. Any questions on that?
Action is taken unknowingly to the character within a sense of the story. Is that still considered an evil action, or is that just a necessity?
I feel like that would be kind of a necessity if it's like a decision made in the moment for the character's safety or something like that.
Okay.
Next is, since I know that I don't know how many of you have played together before, try not to talk over other players. Give everyone a chance to play, and remember that while this is your story as players, nobody is necessarily the main character. Everyone deserves their moment in the spotlight. Non-consensual PvP, including fighting, stealing, or turning NPCs against another character, is not allowed by any means. Always check with the other player if you'd like to engage in any of these activities. Just because it's PvP, like your character trying to harm their character, doesn't necessarily mean that, like, the two actual players can't agree on something. Everybody understand that one?
100%.
Gotcha.
I try to avoid character relationships. A lot of the time it seems like once a character is in a relationship with another character, it typically becomes their entire personality. If people think that they can pull it off well while still being their own character, then that's totally okay. Anyone trying to seduce an NPC or be romantic with an NPC will simply be met with a fade to black. I will not act out ERP or excessive flirting. Everybody okay with that one?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Much preferred. Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Fantastic. It's been a little while since I wrote this, so I'm just looking through and making sure that I don't have anything else here. Okay. We are all good. That was all of my stuff. Does anybody have anything else that they would like to add for this?
Yeah.
As far as like the
Nothing.
basic rules and things like that go, I think that pretty much covers everything that I would have brought up.
Fantastic. Okay. So, would we like to go over character concepts first, or would you guys like a brief history of the world and basically what I'm going for with this setting?
Let's do the brief overall of the world
Okay.
first.
Yeah, I
So,
agree.
the world of Aspera is a world in its infancy. I created this setting with the idea of no long history for people to try to have to figure out in order to really enjoy the game and get into the lore. And with the idea that the actual player characters would become the iconic historic figures for future campaigns. When I ran my first campaign in the setting, the different humanoid races had sprouted out of the ground, literally sprouted out of the ground, fully adult, about 25 years before that. These people were known as the Firstborn. They had no memory of what came before they crawled out of the dirt. They had things like muscle memory and skill memory that would imply that there was something that came before. People came up knowing how to be decent blacksmiths or how to fight, carpentry, things like that. But no memory of a world before. They quickly began to split off and formed small settlements that grew into larger towns. Currently, there are 6 large, almost states, with some smaller villages and cities spread in between that most of them have not been given proper names. The largest of these city-states is Isla Brisga, ruled by Queen Borin Brisga. She formed this small fishing village over here, forcing a young blue dragon off of the island, and her people crowned her as queen. Over time, people began to flock to the area because good fishing, fertile soil, it was a decent place to set up a small home. From there, people began to move onto the mainland, founding the city of Miram. Miram is a logging city. Most of the industry that happens there revolves around lumber and trading it to other places. Miram is the most recently, or the city with the most recently crowned monarch. It was formerly an entire party that were sharing the crown. However, all but one of them have moved on, with the king of Miram being known as King Leo Edmund II. The city of Goldcrest was formed between 2 parallel running rivers, and is the largest farming village in the world, with most of its area being totally covered in fields and orchards. They don't have much in the way of a fighting force. However, their use of high walls and longbows or great bows make it quite difficult to attack the city, although it isn't out of the question. There have been undead attacks that have broken through the city walls previously. The village of Frostford is located in a not quite mountainous region, but there are hills and caves, and the hills are full of ore. So it is primarily a mining village. It had a king by the name of Cyver Second Son. He was a grumpy old dwarf who was given the title while he was passed out, so that way he couldn't refuse it. Otherwise, he likely would have. Grotza it has a centralized location here on the map. However, it is mostly spread throughout this little valley here, especially up onto the Grotza mountain range there. It does not have any formal leadership, while it is not fully recognized. Previously, there had been a person living there of somewhat high regard by the name of Ingvar Itari. He was one of the saints. I will go over those here in just a few minutes. But he has recently been murdered in the street by a group known as the Order of the Blackheart, who have taken up residence in Grotza, and other city-states have been pretty much forced to acknowledge them as the owners, as nobody can send a force large enough to push them out. The Shifting Bog in the southwest is less a formal city-state and more a collection of small villages on the landmass run by a lizard folk by the name of Raji. Raji is a warlord who is actively threatening war on anybody with a coastline. He is just looking for a fight and to expand his territory. He has not yet explained why any of this is. He and Isla Brisga have a little bit of a cold war going on, as neither one of them can really reach the other without crossing through other territories. And the most recently formed of the city-states, Giada, is located in the desert to the south. It is a very small city-state, mostly going through the sands and trying to make a living, doing whatever trade they can with everybody else to make up for the fact that they can't really farm much themselves. They continue to find strange treasures located in the sands, and there are also rumors that the leadership of Giada is a bit corrupt. In the world of Aspera, there are very few formal gods. At the beginning, people were trying to pray and no one would answer. Around 24 years into the world's history, someone sent an expedition into this large tower here, between Frostford and Goldcrest. It was a tower that emanated this cold, a piercing cold that killed all nature around it, which is why there is a large circle of open area around it. Climbing through this tower of frost and reaching the top, there were many strange creatures created basically out of ice sculptures. And on top was a strange book. A book that could not be read by mortals. When it was placed at the top of the tower, a god was born. The first god, he who races the wind, Ba Kavare. A childish young man who's still kind of learning how to control his abilities, with some control over nature in general, but mostly control over the wind and the clouds. Since then, there have been a couple of other gods that have come to light. There is Avarice, the goddess of sin,
Sorry.
brought to life, yes, brought to life by a party who thought that they were doing the right thing. Also during the 100-year gap, a demon lord rose to deity status, Baphomet, the god of savagery and battle. And there is also the King of the Forge, a god who is reclusive and is not given his true name. He lives in the Grotza Mountains, refuses to speak with most people, but the sounds of him hammering away at his forge occasionally cause earthquakes in the region. Due to gods not quite being born at the beginning of this setting, we instead had saints. They were mortals who embodied the domains of the gods to a point where they were granted a little bit of divine power by how much the people believed in them. These saints were Horus, the embodiment of the Oath of Redemption and the domains of life and war; Demir, the saint of the Oath of Ancients and the domains of nature and trickery; Josephine, the Oath of Conquest, the domains of grave and death, and since she typically walked that line between good and evil, she was also typically the patron of many Oathbreakers. The Furbolg Scorn Vas Exel is the saint of the domains of peace and life, as well as the samurai fighter archetype. And the recently killed Ingvar Itari was the saint of the twilight and love domains, as well as the first Echo Knight. The setting runs on a system of belief, where if enough people believe something to be true, the nature of the world may twist to cause that thing to come true. This is the same thing that caused the saints to gain a little bit of divine power, and also cause Queen Borenbrizga, the former members of the Desperate Measures adventuring party, which included King Leo Edmund II, as well as Lord Raji, to become functionally immortal. They do not have a natural lifespan, however they can still die. These, in my setting, are known as icons. In order to become an icon, you must show the people of the world that there is something that sets you apart to make you a hero. Somebody who should always be there. Something that, whenever people look at you, there is a subconscious feeling of awe. There is also something on the other side of that spectrum. However, not many of them exist. Going along this system of belief, those who become icons typically also gain legendary weapons that match their personality, known as fables. There are only a few fables in existence. One of them belonging to Queen Borenbrizga, a magical eye that causes her to see for miles with perfect clarity. There is a magical longbow owned by King Leo Edmund II, a bracer owned by Atai Koto, one of the members of the Desperate Measures, and Another one that is commonly known is the Mountain Cleaver, owned by a member of the Blackheart Order. After these 100 years, there is a little bit of tension going on in the world right now when the campaign is going to be starting. And sorry, just got a pop-up thing. There's a few problems going on right now, which I was going to let you all vote on which kind of plot hook you guys might be interested in at the end of this session 0. And then that's where we would be starting the campaign. Queen Borenbriska is trying to send a group of people across this large mountain range here in the north to try to seek out whatever is beyond it and possibly establish a foothold, as what you're looking at right now is about only half of the continent that they currently have access to. It's just across that northern mountain range. There are a lot of threats that people aren't actively ready to deal with. The Blackheart Order in Grotza is attempting to be seen in a slightly more positive light and open up some kind of trade relations with people in the world. They are trying to put together a tournament to bring all of the leaders of the world together and give them an excuse to try to mend some poor relations, because the Blackheart Order had been running around causing problems before taking over Grotza. And, of course, Raji of the Shifting Bog, he's currently trying to move on Frostford, who does not currently have a leader, as their old king died. Those are just a few of the current issues going on in the world. Does anybody have any questions about any of that?
None here.
None over here.
Think I'm good.
Fantastic. So, that is the state of the world currently. Now to find where your characters all fit in. Would anybody like to go first when talking about their character concepts that they have?
I guess I can go first. So, the character I wanted to play, he is a grung wizard. His name is Glug. And he lives in seclusion out of, he lives alone in a forest. And his number one dream is to make a lot of friends, but he doesn't know how to do that because he's very socially awkward and doesn't know social cues very well. And people just find him a little off-putting, more to say. So what does he do to make friends? Well, he's a necromancy wizard. So, sorry.
It's all good.
Sorry for the sirens.
Damn.
Oh, okay.
Bringing up necromancy in the world gives you sirens.
I was like, I live next to an airport, so I thought it was a plane taking off. I was like, I know that feeling.
But yeah, no, in order for him to, he wants to make a lot of friends, so he likes to, anytime he comes across some, a corpse or dead body, he tries to, revive them and make friends with them. But he never really, it never really lasts that long, and so all he wants is a long-lasting friendship.
Aww. So, for your grung, I will say that this is probably a good time to be playing one, as one of the first targets of Raji's wrath was the grungs living in the Shifting Bog. He was actively trying to kill most of them or force them out, as he saw them as lesser life forms.
Oh, they're not lesser, they're the best.
They're not lesser. I love grungs.
You said his name is Glug.
Glug. Glug. Glug.
What is Glug's pronouns?
Glug doesn't really Glug can go with any pronouns.
Glug is glug.
Doesn't really
Glug
understand.
is Glug.
Fantastic.
Oh, okay.
But no, yeah, Glug. I'm gonna say like they can use they them. They don't really see themselves as conforming to one or the other.
Also have the amphibians. They don't do that really that often anyway.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay. Well, would anybody like to go next?
I don't mind going next.
Okay.
All right. I'll be playing as Gil Merriman of Merriman's Marvelous Miracle Tonics. He is a human artificer with the specialty of alchemy, who travels the world selling his confections. He left his home of Goldcrest some time ago and plans to make his fortune wherever he goes.
Beautiful. I love this character concept so much.
Oh, I got all kinds of stuff for Gil.
And remind me, what class is Gil? Because I believe you're one of the few people who picked already, right?
I'm sorry?
What class is Gil? Because I believe that you picked, right?
He is an artificer, with specifically an alchemist. And he travels the world with his cart and trusty sidekick, his mule named William Howard Taft, which he affectionately calls the president. And just tries to make his fortune.
Fantastic. Okay. Who's next? And if you don't have much on your character ready yet, like backstory and stuff, that's totally fine.
I totally do. I just don't want to reveal too much.
Yeah, I just meant like if people are like nervous about going next because they don't have much written for their character yet, that's no worries. Just like a basic concept if you have one.
One of the things you'll notice about Gil, he's an artificer. He has spells, but I like to incorporate spells as like inventions and gadgets that he's created. So I've got a lot of really creative stuff for spells, if that's cool.
Yeah, I love that stuff.
Nice.
I played an alchemist artificer a while back, and trying to come up with like what stupid gadgets does he have to make this stuff work. It was one of the most fun parts.
Oh yeah, I cannot wait. I love this character so much.
Yeah, like some of them are like relatively simple, like something like cure wounds or something like that could just be a syringe, but getting into like how something physically could work, like for other spells, it's a lot of fun.
Oh, wait till you see what his healing words are.
Oh, I can't
And
wait.
also, he does use he/him pronouns. And excuse me. And like myself, he is also asexual, so he won't be doing any romantic things with anybody. Essentially, he's a ace arrow. So
That is, considering who we've already talked about him, like something going on with in the background. That's kind of funny.
okay,
I'll explain another time.
Okay.
Like in private, because I don't want to like spoil any background stuff that we've talked about for anybody. Does anybody else want to talk about their character?
Yes, I'll go next. So I am playing a fairy cleric named Mur Lelida. Mur is a resident from Tree, and Lelida just means water fairy, based on her appearance. She is, she has the, blah, blah, blah. She lives a secluded life, as she heard songs of nature and went out into nature to protect those songs. Over time, she's became lonely and remembers the smells and the feeling of home, and has realized that alone she cannot protect nature and its song, so she looks to find friends in different places now. Through that loneliness, she has developed a smell like buttered breads and fine pastries. And this was just from the loneliness and the memories of her home. Here we go.
Yes, I actually. I'm sorry. You said that you were from the Feywild.
I wasn't sure how that if that tied into this world, but yes, she went to find. I wanted to be from the Feywild, but I didn't know if that because I know there are different realms and there's like crossovers, but I didn't know if that would be part of the campaign or mentioned. So I was like, I don't want to bring in the Feywild in without talking to the DM first.
Yeah. So I actually have kind of a unique little plot hook for you that I will talk to you about later. The Feywild does exist in the setting. One of the members of the Desperate Measures was from there. However, she was hit with a banishment spell that people weren't able to break, and then she was gone.
Oh no.
Oh.
Yeah.
About right for some shit some Fae would do.
Yep.
That's an oof.
Because if you get hit with the banishment spell, and you were not already on your native plane, you get sent back to your native plane. And if the spell isn't broken, you stay there.
To be fair, attempt was attempted to try to stop that, but
What was
ran
that?
out. Attempt was made to stop that, but ran out of spell key points on that one.
Yes, you did. Okay. Drac and Jaybird, if either of you would like to describe your character.
Not it.
Yeah, I'll go ahead. So
If
I
you're
have.
not ready, it's totally cool.
I'm good. So I have Fervor Embers, a Lava Genasi. I did not know how you wanted to handle the Lava Genasi lore in your world.
That's right.
So
I keep forgetting to reply to those messages, and then I keep forgetting to reply to those messages.
so the thought I had beforehand is that because of their banishment, they would be an outlander guide to kind of force a connection between townsfolks and try to guide them between dangerous areas. So they have muscle basically with them.
Yeah.
And then try to get rid of that stereotype of their volatile personalities.
Yeah. And something like that sounds very interesting, possibly for like the deserts of Guyana. Since there's not a lot of stuff out there that's really flammable.
Yes. That's another thing. that was another point. Did you decide how you're going to handle that?
I mentioned the possibility of maybe if like there's a reason for them to get really emotional, then maybe they have like a little flare up and then there's actual danger of it. But I feel like if lava and fire is literally part of your body,
Yeah.
then it's like a cat. Like they can bring their claws in, you know? Like you can kind of
Gotcha.
rein it in a little bit.
Okay. Sounds good.
But like if somebody like really pisses you off, or perhaps like a spell, like a frighten spell or something to cause you to go berserk, that could be very interesting to see how that goes.
Okay. Would rage count towards that because they are a monk barbarian?
I think it might.
Monkbarian.
We might have to work in some kind of like fire bonus on your rage damage instead of just more damage.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That'd be good. I'm good with that.
We'll figure something out with it.
Okay. Gotcha.
Drac, what was your character's name again?
Fervor Embers.
Fervor Embers. Okay.
Fervor Embers.
Alright, Jaybird, there's no more hiding from it.
Son of a bitch.
Unless you're not.
Oh, I'm ready for the most part.
Okay.
All right. So I will be playing a Jim Dragonborn Blood Hunter. Specifically, I'm playing a Amethyst one named
Wait,
Athisian.
a what Dragonborn?
A Jim.
Okay.
Particularly the Amethyst.
For a sec there, I thought the Dragonborn was named the Jim.
No, the name
Jim.
is. So the name of the character is Athisian. Spelled like this. I'll just put it in chat. They'll be going by he, him for the most part. This character, I will be giving a warning, is because of the nature of the Blood Hunter, they do kind of have a bit of using their own life force to fuel their abilities. So, example of using like Crimson Rite or my Blood Maledicts. The most it's going to be kind of described as is since their arms are going to be more like clear gems for the most part, you can kind of see their veins glow, matching the color of the rites that they're using. For example, if I use like a Storm Rite, it'll be glowing of a more like light color, if that makes sense, like veins through the hand.
Yeah, just a little bit of glow doesn't seem like it would be too big of a deal.
Whenever I use like the curses, it might go like a blackish hue, very dark blood.
Yeah.
Past that, I plan to go hammer and board with this character. It'd be more of like a frontline-ish kind of thing,
Very cool. It's funny that you mentioned Gem Dragonborn, because one thing that I did forget to mention, and now that we've gone over everybody's characters, I don't think I missed anybody, did I?
Nope.
Okay.
No, that's
Are you playing DM?
True.
I am everything. I am all.
Oh my god.
One fun thing about this setting is, if you're the kind of players who enjoy fighting big, dangerous creatures like dragons, humans are not on the top of the food chain. Many of these villages, like Grotza and Miram, and possibly also Giada, I forgot what I gave Giada that name for, those aren't the names that the people chose. Those were the names of the dragons that inhabited those lands and put their claim on it. Miram had a green dragon living in this kind of purple area of the forest up here. Named
Sneaky
Miram.
little fucker.
Yes, he
I thought it
was.
was
He
a
snuck it.
mushroom forest.
It kind of is a little bit.
Yes.
In areas where dragons exist, they, just by their nature, they tend to ruin the area around them and like modify it based on what they are. So being a poison-based dragon, there was a lot of poisonous mushrooms and just not good plants in that area. Grotza was a white dragon, and that's why all of the mountains are covered in ice. There's rumors that there is also something similar to a dragon living in the sands in Giada, but nobody's really found out enough and lived to tell the tale.
Oh, now I'm thinking about it. Is the dragon still living in the lake here?
You don't know.
Okay.
you don't know. Dude,
Business?
Yummy fucked off. Yummy went somewhere else.
I know, Yami went on a buffet.
Yummy
So I've
went
already-
somewhere else. He doesn't know.
I've already learned that I made a mistake.
Uh-oh.
I changed my background. I'm like, I don't need this fourth language. And I was like between Draconic and Elvish, and I chose Elvish. So, whoops!
Fun fact.
Also, if
Yeah, I
there's
got dragon.
dragons here, do I have to worry about being somebody's snack? Are there going to be fairy dragons?
Always.
Fairy dragons do exist.
No!
The reason that I had brought up dragons in general is because in my setting, metallic and chromatic, it doesn't matter. They are not inherently good or evil just based on what kind they are. It's more... Metallics are more intelligent, whereas chromatics are more
Instinctual.
animalistic. The
Like-
only dragons that are like neutral or good are gems, and they serve the gods.
The only unfortunate thing is that I'm a delicacy to fairy dragons.
Yep. Yummy, yummy.
Guys,
Oh, I
just
need,
look for any little butterfly dragons, please.
It's
I'm just gonna
fine.
double check real quick
Yep.
the rules for HP because I just realized I forgot to roll for HP.
Oh yeah, I was
all
going to ask:
good.
Are we wanting to roll, or are we just going to take an average?
I would like to roll just because it makes things a little more.
I also rolled.
I
Yeah.
already rolled.
I rolled as well.
All right.
I need to roll.
I put up a poll in the stream and game info section of the Discord, and people voted on, instead of my typical, usually what I had been doing was if you roll below average, you can choose to take average -2, usually or -1, but I wanted to try something different. But instead of that, people here have elected to re-roll ones on health rules.
Mhm.
Which is also a fun way of doing it.
Oh, I'm curious. How are we doing the feats this time? Because I know you like switching it up between things.
I believe I posted that in here somewhere as well.
Hold on a sec.
Am I blind?
It's three hit dice, right, for level 3.
Yeah.
It's-
So level
The,
1.
the first level is max. Yeah.
The first level's max.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and wizard max is I believe 8 or
Oh, it's
Six.
6 plus
6.
con.
It's a
So
D6.
it's all right. 6
Plus your con.
plus my con. What's my con again? Oh, 2. Okay.
Oh, I had a question about my race having flying, because I know some DMs
8.
implement this. When
Uh-huh.
I'm flying for lengthy periods of time, will I need to be rolling fortitude saves?
If you're flying for so it depends. If you're flying just like a couple feet off the ground, like instead of walking somewhere, then I'm not going to worry about that. But if you're planning on like actually going up into the air for hours at a time, then you might make Constitution saves at the end of the hours. But
Because I know for the role play aspect, I figured I would be hovering off the ground, but it wouldn't be like higher than a normal character, just kind of like maybe 2 or 3 inches off the ground for the RP aspect, if that's all right.
yeah, I'm not going to have you roll for that.
Okay.
And for what you were asking, Jaybird, the way that I'm handling feats in this campaign is my old way of doing it. At level 4, you gain an ASI and a feat, instead of having to pick between the two.
All right, so it's going to be like Sunken Isles.
Yes. If
That
you,
is pretty awesome.
Yeah, if you multi-classed, then the way that it works in that case is once you reach character level 4, you pick an ASI or a feat. Once you hit character level 4, or once you hit class level 4, you take the other. So let's say that you're, I don't know what you're planning on going, Drac, but I am going to use you as an example real quick. If you are 3 monk, 1 barbarian, then at that level, you choose to take ASI or a feat. And then on your next level up, if you decide to take another point in barbarian, making you 4 in 1, you get the other one.
Gotcha.
Sounds good. I did want to mention, since you're bringing up feats, that I did pick the variant human, so I started with a feat.
Yep,
If that's okay.
totally cool.
Cool.
I'm hearing just +2 strength and tough next level.
Big. Okay. Yep, go ahead.
So I do believe we discussed wild folk for a brief moment.
Yeah, totally.
But for my character, were they going to be from Giada, or were they going to be from a settlement outside of it?
Well...
Because I know you didn't want us to start to have any association with the wild folk, so I just wanted to see what your stance is on that.
You're totally fine having some kind of relationship to the wild folk if you would like. Something that I forgot to add on here because I had it hidden and was going to reveal it. These are the current borders. And I realize now I made a slight mistake on So I'm just going to redraw this real quick. Because Giada, their border is more like that. Whoops, that's GM layer.
Okay.
And the rest of it is kind of just run by the wild folk. Anything past that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, Zach, just so you know, I used my 10 gold to grab a shield.
Okay.
Okay. So then that kind of works out. So my character being part of the wild folk side and then just going back and forth to Giada to force interactions and get people to be like, we're not all that bad.
Yeah.
Is fine. Would be fine.
And also kind of makes sense because the wild folk aren't as, like, advanced as other cities. So you being made of fire is a lot scarier to people living in, like, twig huts than it is to people who have, like, decent ways of dealing with the fire.
Gotcha. Sounds good.
Does anybody else have any more questions?
One is just 5e relative.
Yeah.
So with speed, I know back in 3.0, 3.5, if you were to do a full sprint, it would take all of your actions. You could only do the full sprint, no attack. Is that still how it is in 5e? If I want to move the 60 feet to run off or to fly off,
Correct.
That would just take the whole
It'll take your action.
initial. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yes.
If you're like a monk, you can easily just bonus action key do it. There's a few other things that can go around it, like if you're to back, for example, you can just do it.
Yeah.
I just wasn't sure if it was the same, and I didn't want to mess with rules or.
There's
like, oh, what are you gonna do after you run the 60 feet and be like, oh, I didn't think that far ahead.
Yeah. So, your normal movement speed should be probably listed as like 30, right?
Yeah, it's 30, and it's tied to my flying too. So my flying is the same speed as walking. So.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So your normal movement without using any kind of an action is 30. You can use an action to dash. Some classes get other options, like Rogue and Monk also get a bonus action dash. Some classes, or some races like Tabaxi, can increase their movement speed as a bonus action as well. Or not as a bonus action, they just get to do it once and then they have to stand still. But yes, your normal movement speed while still being able to do everything is 30. And then on your turn you have an action and a bonus action. And then some things that you can do for free. If you would like, I can grab you like a little flow chart for how that all works in 5e. I grabbed one for somebody else a little bit ago.
I just, coming in from 3.5, there's been just a lot of changes. Like, especially like looking through the Feywild stuff, there was just so much that has changed. And I'm like, okay, I might have to ask a few questions. To find out that the Fey have like an Underdark of their own was kind of cool too. So up on that, I'm like, whoa, when did this happen?
I think that was 4th edition is when they had that.
Yeah,
I
the Shadowfell?
even touch 4th edition.
No. So there's like an Underdark for the Feywild that was added. It's not the Shadowfell. It's like an actual. That's for like the more evil kind of Fey side.
They're not
evil, but
it's like a death realm, as you know. It's like the more dark, like the gothic realm of the Fey. Whereas you have the crazy like psychedelic Fey, and then below them is like the goth Fey.
I think that's where like the red caps are from.
Yeah.
Is that where anti-Fey are from?
Kinda.
I think so. There's an entire like book about a carnival run by the under Feywild, but the Fey, the people of the upper Feywild are part of it, and they do it for them. So it's not like they're like a yin and yang, but like a peaceful but not peaceful yin and yang. from what I was
Gotcha.
reading, which I think is
Yeah.
really cool. So
The Feywild is a very crazy place. That's
So real quick, I'm just like remembering some things that I forgot to talk about, like some mechanics that are specific to the setting. One thing that I wanted to bring up, because it is actually something that one of the characters in a previous campaign figured out a little bit of the secrets of, and it kind of also plays into how things like the Feywild interact with this world. Every approximately 2 months, it isn't exact, sometimes it'll be like, 55 days or 64 days. It's like somewhere in that area. There is a set of 2 days of non-stop darkness, followed by 2 days of constant daylight. These are known as the long dark and the blazing day. This is, as was discovered by a party member last time, when another plane of existence, for a short time, kind of converges with our world. During this time, things may cross over one way or the other. And normal creatures during this time may also end up getting a little bit fucky. They might gain some new abilities and then just kind of wander around the countryside. That's just something that I had forgotten to mention before and would be weird to bring up in session without anybody knowing about it.
So when you say kind of fucky, are you just saying like fucky as in they get powers, or fucky as in
They get
they're
powers.
not like?
Like,
Okay, are they aware though?
Yes. They seem to get more intelligent. And, for example, one of the ones that a former party had run into was a solar-charged owlbear, which had feathers like a peacock and fired a solar beam.
That is really cool, actually.
I kind of picture it as like a blood moon in Breath of the Wild.
Would you like a picture?
I don't know.
I like to imagine that the feathers just like glow, and then as he's just charging the beam in its mouth.
Urine from Monster Hunter.
Yes.
yeah.
Wait, Nagi, you play Monster Hunter?
I do.
Oh my
Great
god.
game.
I also love Monster Hunter.
I have Rise on the Switch and
Nice.
on the PC.
I only have it on the Switch. I haven't played it in a while though.
Yeah, Rise is about to get its last update next month.
Yeah, I've been thinking of replaying Worlds though, because I love Worlds.
Oh,
I
yeah.
have Worlds on PC. If anybody ever wants to play it, just let me know.
I
Real
still
quick,
at my failed attempt of doing my D&D Monster Hunter.
real quick, because I just found it. I'm not going to bring it up on the stream. I am going to post it in the Discord, however. This is what it looked like, and it was so much fun to run.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that was a fun fight.
Wait.
Oh my god, I love it.
One of the players in that game had a very bad day. Because one of the things that it could do, once it got to about half health, it raised this like sun disk thing from its feathers, and anywhere that it shined, it was brighter than daylight, and it could basically misty step anywhere in that area. And it Omaiwa Mo Shindaru teleported behind a guy and crit him 3 times and outright killed his character on the spot.
Oh my god.
Yeah. He went back to his slime patron. Yeah.
Ursa, remember when my dwarf had a really bad day?
Yeah, you had several, actually.
Yeah, a lot.
That's just an okay roll your next character moment.
The thing is, I didn't actually kill him, but it was like he was down, and we're like, at that point, just let him die. Like,
no, I'm pretty sure it killed him on the spot.
Did it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That final. Yeah, you're right. It was like
because
you were like, if you want, I can. No, everyone was like, no, it's deserved at that point. You deserved doing that.
I asked him if he was okay with it going down this way, and he said yes. And then he never showed his face on the server again, and I felt really bad.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
no.
Could have been worse.
It
Could have been killed by a kobold.
Mm.
You never
Coulda-
lived that down.
Could have gotten killed by a fireball.
yeah.
I mean, I was eaten by a giant frog in a campaign. And
For context, I was one of Ursa's players in a campaign once, and he killed me with a fireball.
You didn't. You weren't. Nobody was paying attention to the spellcaster in the back.
I know. I'm not saying it's your fault, but I'm just saying that you did kill me with a fireball.
I'm not saying your fault, but it was your fault.
if it makes you feel better, as a DM, I once made a player who was a dire gorilla kill another player that was a barbarian because he thought the barbarian stole his banana.
Oh,
no.
well,
Oh, no.
that's understandable.
There's a player that's in this server, Talos. He never lets me live down a encounter with a nightmare dragon imported from Pathfinder.
Mhm.
I'm not allowed to live that down anymore.
Oh, I almost killed Walt again with a rug of smothering.
Oh, classic.
Very classic, yes.
My character now has a fear of fire and rugs.
Yes.
Oof.
Damn, you must really fear carpet burn.
Damn.
Real quick, I just want to make sure. Does anybody else have anything for their character or for the campaign that they would like to ask about?
Just a question, because I don't know if I remember seeing this, but how to like, is it so are you like every time we get feats and ASI, or is it just one or the other?
First time.
First time both, after that pick.
All right.
Yeah. So just at level 4 we get both. Okay.
Yeah, just at 4 to give you guys a little bit of a power boost so that way I can throw more interesting stuff at you.
Yeah, because I was just I wasn't sure if it was like because I felt like if it was every, that'd be too broken.
So I actually have a question for everyone else. Would this be a situation where all of our characters know each other and have been traveling for a while, or are we going to be perfect strangers?
I'd like to.
I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe perfect strangers. I think it'd be fun if we all like found you have a reason for us like eventually party up. Like
For a lot of people's things too, it makes sense because I know with Walter's character's looking for a friend. Mine was in solitude. Drax's character is working to help townspeople be safe and stuff. So I mean, I feel like it would make more sense that we don't know each other and that we have to meet somehow.
Well, I actually thought that would be an interesting way for us to meet because my character is a wanderer. Like they literally travel like all over the place just selling stuff, and if they happen to have met everybody along the way, then they could be part of the troop.
Maybe like we could be like you were in Glug's area and then you were nice to Glug and you're like, Glug, you want to come along? And Glug would definitely hop on that opportunity.
Also, keep in mind, my character isn't evil, but he is a grifter. Like he sells sparkling water. It's not a tonic. He's a snake oil salesman.
It's
having somebody
salt water.
Yeah, what?
He's not evil. It's
diet water.
Yeah, exactly. And having someone in the crowd would actually help with the business,
So, just with how everybody's characters are, like, shaping up while everybody's working on them, the way that it seems best to me would be if you guys were interested in that tournament that I was talking about. Oops, I just realized that something's not showing. I just looked over and saw that one of the borders didn't get revealed, and there we go.
Black Cat, there's one thing I did want to add real quick.
Okay.
Kind of as a goal for this character, I kind of want to be like the opposite coin of Cyan Wrath.
Okay. Since you name dropped him, I'll say Cyan Wrath is the member of the previous party that I said joined the Black Heart Order. Basically, for that campaign, there was.
I thought you did drop his name.
No. I was
Oh.
gonna have him like just show up at some point,
My
maybe.
bad. I thought
Maybe
you said,
as like a side thing. Who knows?
yeah, I
But,
thought you dropped his name when you were talking about the Mountain Cleaver.
So, real quick, there was a curse in that campaign where during one of those long darks, a symbol appeared in the sky. And it just caused people to basically, how do I word this? Lose their filter and just do whatever they wanted. People started to kill each other, rob each other, commit crimes, just basically act on their worst impulses. And one of these characters went a little further with it than everybody else. I'm going to post a couple pictures here in the chat so that way you guys can see, because he is not really a legend, more infamous. This is what he originally was. If you recognize the character, he was basically playing as an NPC from Tyranny of Dragons, a character by the name of Landragos Asignrath, but turned it into his own thing. And this is what he ended up as. If it loads.
It's taking a hot minute, isn't it?
Yeah, it's because
it's a large art.
Oh, that's hot.
Oh shit.
Oh.
That is
So-
the
Look
Mountain
at them
Cleaver.
grippers.
True.
Oh.
Did you explain the weapons earlier, or the items, what they were called?
The Fables.
Fables. So there's an. Can I say this now? I'm thinking about it.
Don't say what it does, but
No, not what it does, but what it is. Because you gave them a
explained it
different
before.
name. No, you didn't say their other name if they're by something that's created by infamy.
Oh, yes. This is a Grim. It's basically an item created when the population of the world decides that you are the villain. That is the Mountain Cleaver.
Oh.
Regularly used it to cut people in half.
So this guy had was it like a good to villain arc?
Kind.
It was a dickhead to a villain.
Yeah.
So not too far of a descent.
It was a person that you wouldn't say needs to be locked up, but you're not going to enjoy speaking to them, to this man has killed multiple people today. He became much more dragon than person.
Yeah, he went towards the
so
more
he went
instinctual.
more feral.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that last campaign, we were not the good guys at all.
You
I
guys,
mean, that's true.
Look, I tried at the beginning, but
I can't even.
Eset did
think
not
the character's
part.
that bad because the character's Dragon Man, and just inherently they're too cool for me to hate them. So.
well, with that campaign, we ended up allowing the bad guy to win, basically.
yeah, they're the reason that the goddess of sin exists.
Oh, you guys got to the fuck it, let them do
Yeah.
what they gotta do point.
Yeah, the thing is, at that point, I switched characters because originally that character was not going to fit that group because they were a good person, like really good person.
And so
The rest of the
instead
party was not. She got killed.
Yep.
Then I played a different character, and I was planning to keep her around, try to make her the neutral moral course. She gets killed, sadly, and I usually go on the thing of like, I'm going to let the dice roll, type of thing. So if my character dies, it dies. Even though probably I should let her live.
Jaybird gets crit a lot.
Yeah, Jaybird gets crit a lot.
I guess that's a good.
My guy.
I guess that's a
it's
good time for me
very-
to ask you guys, or let you guys know. In my campaigns, they tend to become a little bit more on the difficult side and the more deadly side. But if you are attached to your character, I will always give you a way to continue to play them. They just might come out of the situation changed. For example, they might
Gotcha.
have to make a deal with something that they don't want to. And then this entity is going to be following them around for a while until they do whatever that entity wanted. I'm trying to think
Your
of
rules
some
on
examples.
resurrection.
Resurrection is, like, if you have the spell, then that's totally fine. You can come back totally normal.
If someone were to, okay, so but do you do the what is it called? It's like the punishment of resurrection where you have to roll and you may become something like I know they don't have pixies, but like maybe you come back as like a goblin or something.
Oh, that's
else?
reincarnation.
That's
Yeah,
reincarnation.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, there's a specific spell called reincarnation. So all of the resurrection spells have different requirements. Some of them are they will revive you and they'll just bring you back to life, but whatever body parts you're missing from whatever fight you were in are still missing, but you're alive. Some of them will stitch your body parts back together and then bring you to life, but still require you to have a body. Some of them will build you a brand new body, and all you have to do as a spirit is say that you want to come back. Reincarnation, you don't need the body, you just need a piece of their DNA. But because of that, it's going to put you into a random body. Like, there's an entire table. Let me find it real quick.
Oh yeah, Nation.
Yeah.
That one's a fun one.
For example, on the Roll20 real quick, if you could just type /r space 1d100.
R space 1d100.
Yeah. Well, congratulations, Nagi. You are no longer a fairy, you're now a Lightfoot halfling. And Walter, you are no longer I'm sorry, what were you? You were...
A grung.
You're no longer a grung, you're a forest gnome.
Oh, does that have the new complete list though?
Yeah. Gil Merriman, you are still a human. You're just a different guy.
Hooray!
I love that.
That's incredibly funny considering one of my spells.
Jaybird mentioned it before, but his name is Talos. The person who was playing Cyan Wrath. On a previous character, he was playing a Tabaxi barbarian, and he got reincarnated as a forest gnome.
Yep. Yep.
I love that.
It was
It was a lot
great.
of fun. And then he got reincarnated into a different gnome.
Yeah, we end up having to wish him back into a tabaxi.
What were you saying, Nagi?
Oh, so back when you had asked, we had questions about characters.
Yeah.
I was wondering if my character's from the Feywild, would you like it to be, like an amnesic experience?
I'm not gonna make you be an amnesiac.
Okay.
If it's something that you choose to do. Like, okay,
Well,
here's my typical philosophy when DMing. If you want to do something, then we totally can. But I'm not going to force something onto you guys. Like, if it's something that is going to permanently change your character, I will tell you about it beforehand, but I'm going to leave the option up to you. So if you want to be amnesiac, then you totally can. But I will not force you to.
well, I wanted to reach out to you before stream, but saw you were in the game, and I was like, okay. And then you were also on Do Not Disturb, so I was like, I'll wait. Then
They're always on Do Not Disturb.
Yeah, I'm always on Do Not Disturb because I'm part of a bunch of servers, and the pinging gives me a headache.
Do you really need
I
to disturb him?
understand
Disturb
that.
him.
But so I was going to ask you before because I wasn't sure if the Feywild would be connected, but being how the world was and how it came to be and whatnot, being that I believe you said was 125 years in. So the original meaning behind her name is myrrh is a type of tree resin, and then Lelida just means water fairy, and her appearance is that of almost like a nixie, like a water creature. But she was born by the water, and that was the whole reason her appearance came to be. Her being secluded and whatnot, I originally wanted it to be something that passerby like had given her that name, if that was okay, but I wanted to be sure that things were connected realm-wise before bringing that up or asking.
Yeah, the realms are connected. There's, like I was saying, the long dark and the blazing day. That is a time when worlds kind of like they touch and things can move over, but also specifically for the Feywild, there are other crossings.
Yeah, I think the same thing with the Shadowfield. Those two planes are just so entangled into the material plane. There's just always a more connection to it.
I'll just DM you this real quick instead of like just saying it out loud because it's still a secret to other people in my world.
Aw. But fine. Y'all maybe will consume that secret eventually. Actually, now I'm thinking about it. How's his Zerg army going?
What Zerg army?
I had a feeling.
Remember, he was wanting to have kids. That's why he hired nerds.
Well, oh. Don't worry about it. We'll come back to that. What were you saying, Maggie?
Oh, what you sent me. I said I had a feeling, but I didn't want to ask because I wasn't sure if it was important or not.
Kind of yes.
It's also
kind of
why. No. It's also why I asked about the fairy dragons.
Uh-huh.
I was like, oh, maybe.
But yeah, that is one of possibly many.
I'm kind of bummed out now because I was going to ask you about playing a fairy dragon before I made the fairy. I was like, I think that's a little too.
Thing is,
gauche.
I tried my best not to ask to play a dragon in this. I tried my fucking best not to.
My dad and I have a running joke as DMs where we'll ask all the time if one of us is DM, we'll be like, "Can I be a dragon?" And we both.
I have homebrew. I have good homebrew, but every time I get my chance, the campaign falters. I'm like, no.
Yeah, Jaybird has a home